everybody, it's Susie. Welcome to my craft room. Okay, I'm just gonna quickly kind of show you what I've done, and then we're gonna start on some techniques, I think. Okay, what I have done is I've made some of these. I took some that I printed 2 copies of the kit, and I made some of these little pockets, and I'm gonna punch holes in here, and these will go in here, like little pockets. And I did that on a few of them. I don't remember how many. Looks like about 6. I might not use them all, but I have them if I want them. Okay, this one I have not sewn shut yet because we're going to try a technique with it too. So I did make 2 of these envelopes. We went over those, but I went ahead and sewed them and got them ready to go, and I think they look pretty cool. And this one does have the journaling card that is in here that I had fixed after I had to cut it down. So this is what these look like. I don't know what I'm going to put in these pockets yet. Probably some more like some writing papers and such. I still have these pages that were the extra of the kit that are backed already. They're double thick. So I don't know if I want to use those as writing papers or if I want to cut out some of these images. It's kind of going to depend on where we're going, with the decorations and what we need. But these envelopes, obviously these I need to punch the holes in. The envelopes already have them. So anyway, that's those, and I'm real happy with the way they look. Okay, so we're going to try 2 different techniques today if we have time. Oh, by the way, I pulled out a coffee filter. My friend gave me some of these beautiful colored coffee filters. And so they're actually too big to go in my journal. So I had to cut them down. Well, I didn't necessarily want it to look cone shaped because I knew they were going to get small. So I ended up cutting, more of the bottom off too to kind of accommodate. So this is what it looks like. So cut down. What I will do is I still need to sew this down, but I think I'm going to reinforce this top edge with something because it is pretty thin. I may just reinforce both pieces of this one. Now the other one, we're going to play with it a little bit, and we'll decide at that point what to do with it. That should have been inked, and I didn't. Okay, these pieces, I went ahead and inked around the edges, so none of the white would show. And then some of them needed to be kind of distressed a little bit, and I did that. But these are thick. Some of these are on the chipboard. Some of them are on pretty heavy cardstock. So I just went ahead and inked those so they're ready to go. This one is also on some pretty thick stuff. This one as well. This I had already backed on book page, and this was a very, very fragile page. But anyway, I went ahead and inked around it, and it's ready to go in if I decide to use it. And this is a little clock that, I tore around to kind of make it, older looking. And then I distressed it, and I've just inked around that and inked around that. So all those pieces are ready to go. Now, the first technique that we're going to try, is going to be putting tea bags. I recycle my tea bags after I've used them, and so I don't want my pieces this white. And so what I do want to do is to cover these with the tea bag. Now, I have done this technique before, however, I've never used glue stick. And I was inspired watching Gi Kerr glue napkins down with glue stick, so I think I'm going to try that if I can. There it is. I was going to say if I can find my glue stick. So what I really want to do, let's see. I can cut that down and still use another piece of this, so just kind of see where we're going here. Oh yeah, that'll cover it. Okay, so I want to see. Normally, when I've done this before, I use Mod Podge. So we're going to try the glue stick since G uses glue stick on napkins. I thought, well, you know what? Let's try it. Now, this is a magazine page. So maybe it'll work. Maybe it won't. I mean, shiny surfaces don't particularly like glue of any kind except the you know, Fiber Tack or 3-in-1. All right, let's put this on here. Put it down pretty good. Try to get the air bubbles out. All right, we'll let this dry for a few minutes, and then I'm going to go back over it with Mod Podge for sure, because, you know, I just don't want to put the glue stick on top, since I'm not gluing anything else on there. And I think once we put the Mod Podge on there, it's going to bring the color out a little. Ooh, yeah, don't rub too hard or you're going to pull your thing up. So, once I put the Mod Podge on there, it'll show through just a little bit better. And maybe y'all won't like the glue stick. I don't know. So we're just going to try it a couple of times and see what we think. All right, I want to do, I think, this piece. And then I'm going to go to Mod Podge because I know how Mod Podge will look when it's finished. And I don't know how the glue stick is going to look when it's finished. So I just want to experiment with a couple and we'll see the results together. So let's let that dry for a few minutes. Okay. So now I want to take my homemade Mod Podge, I think. If you can get the lid off. I try to clean that every time before I close it, but apparently I didn't do too good that time. All right. So, what I want to do here is I think I just want to place some of these down. And these are gallon-sized tea bags, by the way, y'all. So, you know, if you're just using like single-serve tea bags, you may have, you know, have to use more. And even if say like the half size of this and don't completely cover, you can kind of overlap them a little bit, and it doesn't really change your results too much. So I think I want this one like that, because I do want to take the white under this table down. And I may not use any of these, but you know, we're going to try it and see what we come up with. Okay, so I just want to put a little Mod Podge on these pieces, and then I'm going to put the napkin on top. Now, this happens to be that plastic mat I was telling you about before. If you don't have one, be sure to use like parchment paper or wax paper. The reason being is you don't want your pieces sticking, you know, and if you glue onto just, you know, paper or whatever, your pieces are going to stick. And I don't want my pieces to stick to, you know, whatever I'm putting them on. I only want them to stick to the tea bag. Okay, and these are magazine pages. Not this one, but these three I think are magazine pages. So we will see how that turns out with Mod Podging them on. Oh, get that back up there. Okay, now let's put these on that. Very, very gently work from the center out to get a good stick, or a good, you know, yeah, y'all know. And then just kind of get as many wrinkles out as you can or as you want to. You know, sometimes you just want that whole wrinkled look, you know, for the texture and such. Now I'm going to put the Mod Podge on top of these pieces. You know, and when you're putting this top layer on, you know, you can kind of work some of the air out to the edges and kind of get it out of there. But you have to be careful, you know, what you touch with your fingers, because you can rip it. You know, like napkins are real fragile. You know, these tea bags aren't as fragile as napkins, or the, you know, 1-ply napkins. So, all right. So we're going to let that dry. And then I want to cover this, I think, with the tea bag. Yeah, here it is. Okay. You know what? I'm not going to use the tea bag. I brought this napkin in. This is a single-ply napkin like you get like at McDonald's or KFC or whatever. And I thought, you know what? If tea bags work, maybe these little brown napkins will work too. So I wanted to try it and find out. So that's what I'm going to do with this one. Okay, I'm going to pick this up so it doesn't stick to, well, I guess it is going to stick. You're sticking to the wrong thing. I want you to stick to the tea bag, not to the plastic. Y'all please play right. Okay, so I'm just gonna hang this up here for a minute and let it dry for a few minutes. Doesn't take too long. All right. And then, you know what I think I'm gonna do? No. Well, wonder if I put it on here first and then turn my piece over, you know, like that. Looks like I cut my napkin a little bit too off, but you know what? I can sure trim these legs off, can't I? And then nobody, me and you'll know that I didn't do it like it was originally cut out. So just don't tell anybody. Oh, I have to tell y'all, I believe it was Ross over at Crafty Maymar. I might be wrong. I have to go back and look. She was making a comment about glitter, how much she does not like to use glitter because, you know, it's in her hair and everything, or on her skin or whatever. You can't get rid of it for a month. And anyway, I made a comment on her video, and you know, I was telling her how I hate also using glitter. And I said, but you know, I have a question. How in the world do you get by with it only sticking around for a month? Because when I use glitter, you know, it ends up in my hair, it ends up on my skin, it ends up on my clothes and every crevice of my house, you know, for like a freaking year, because you can't get rid of it. It just seems to, you know, I guess I'm just too messy of a crafter, and I just seem to get it everywhere. And so, of course, you know, it was meant to be kind of cute. I wasn't, you know, being serious. I mean, I was kind of. I mean, because, you know, it does stick and make a mess for a while. But, you know, and I know that, you know, people use those little glitter vacuums and such. I don't think y'all understand. It looks like that I have been in a fight with a whole room full of, you know, first graders in a glitter fight, you know, and lost. Okay, so that's what the napkin looks like, and so far I'm liking that. So I'm gonna hang this up over here for just a minute. And I wouldn't have this nice little hangy thing if if I had my regular camera set up. But I do have my little art light thing that does have a hangy piece on it that I could use, I suppose. Okay, that's all I want to do with the Mod Podge for now. And I can take a heat tool or a blow dryer. So y'all don't think that just because people use heat tools that you have to have one. You don't. A blow dryer works just as good. And it doesn't usually burn your hands as bad as the heat tool does. So, that's what I wanted to show you on that. Now, the next technique that I wanted to do was wax. I've never, ever done this before. So, this could be a video on how not to do it. So, bear with me while we try this. Now, I did see... oh, you know what? This is for Mod Podge, too. This is the ones I glued down with glue stick. Let's go ahead and hit these with a little bit of Mod Podge so they can be drying, too. So, anyway, she responded back to me, you know, with, of course, a lot of laughing emojis. And, you know, said she was just, you know, trying to be conservative and pretty much nice about, you know, not saying that it hung around forever. But, you know, any of y'all who are messy crafters like we are, you know, it's just glitter everywhere. And you're just about ready to pull your hair out and everybody else's because, you know, you can't get rid of the glitter. I mean, it seems like no matter how much you vacuum or dust or whatever, it ends up hanging around forever. You know, and I was telling her, I said, you know, the worst part is when you go somewhere and somebody points out that you have glitter in your teeth, or that you have sparkly teeth, and it's not because they're nice and pearly white, it's just because you have glitter in your teeth. And then what's even worse than that is to be gone all day, to come home to find out that you've been walking around with glitter in your teeth and all in your hair, and nobody bothered to tell you. And you know that the whole state saw you that particular day. All right, now on these, we're going to try the wax. So, definitely, no matter what, use your white paper, parchment paper, whatever you have handy. And it doesn't really matter which. And you're going to want to use enough that it's going to cover your surface, because this wax will, or ideally, I haven't done it, but you know, what I've seen done of it, you know, it kind of spreads out. So you're going to need to leave room for it to spread out without getting on your work surface. If you're doing this on your ironing board, it becomes extra important that you cover your surfaces. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, now these pieces that are a little bit thicker, you know, that I told you I just went ahead and inked up. Well, here's some more little pieces I didn't think about. Well, you know what? We might see about doing those too. All right. These thicker pieces that I inked up. That's not, well, yeah, that is. That's got the book page. Okay. I'm not going to put the wax on, and I'm not going to put tea bags on because I think they look nice just the way they are. But on these, we are going to definitely try the wax on them. So I need to leave plenty of room. Now this is, you know, that one that I was telling you about, like this. And if it turns out all right, then we will sew around, you know, put it back together and sew around the edges. This may take more than one piece of, or maybe one, whatever. More than one time to do it. This is a shiny magazine page, so we'll see. This is a shiny, or was a shiny piece, and this was a shiny piece. And this is a little bit thicker. So I don't think this was a magazine. This was a die cut. And this is just a real tiny, and you know what, I did tear little pieces off to make that, you know, more vintage looking. And of course I inked it up. I think we might stop right there, and then we can always do another little batch of it. I just don't want to end up with wax everywhere and have a mess. And when, you know, I forgot to plug in my iron and turn it on. Of course, this iron is not usually in here. The iron that I use, that I have in here, I've got 2 ironing boards and 2 irons. And I have a very nice iron. Oh my goodness, I can't reach the plug. Sorry, y'all. I have a very nice iron that I have in here to iron fabrics with, not for my crafting. Oh, and by the way, while I'm waiting on the iron to heat up, that wouldn't have been good for it to heat up my glue sticks. That would have made a huge mess, wouldn't it? Okay, be good right there. I am going to ink around all my little pieces for two reasons. Two reasons. I want them to look a little more vintage. Plus, when you're inking around your edges, you know, and you're getting there, you'll find out that your parts that didn't glue down good, and you have a chance to fix them before, you know, you go putting everything in your book to finish up. So I will be inking all of my cards. Plus, well, no, I think all the sides of these, because I did them on copy paper and chipboard. They don't have white, you know, from tearing them out or cutting them out of white pages. All right, so what we're going to do while we're waiting on the iron to heat up, I bought 3 candles at Dollar Tree. I got this off-white one, and this is the one we're going to use today. Then I bought this red one, and then I bought this kind of like plum color one. I think these two might be nice on our other journal that we're working on. But since I do have a little bit of the red in this, and I suppose we could try, you know, a few pieces like that, but definitely not this purplish one. So, you know, let's start with this, and then, you know, maybe we'll try the red one in a minute. So, now what she did, seriously, what she did was just literally kind of start cutting pieces off. Now, you can buy beeswax, and I didn't really want to do that. You know, I don't want to put the money into beeswax and then, you know, not use it and, you know, hate it and all that stuff. So that wasn't really something that I just was crazy about doing. So, you know, and I've seen several people, you know, using this wax technique, and they all used beeswax. I can't talk today. What is wrong with me? They all use beeswax, but I did see that Charlotte Peterson was having, don't y'all love her? Anyway, I saw that Charlotte Peterson was struggling with the beeswax, trying to think what the problem was. But anyway, and so she started using just cheap little candles. And I'm talking about like the little round ones. These and even these kind, and even shorter. You know, the little ones that have that sit in the little metal things, and you just take them out, and then you would take, you know, your wick and try to get that out. You know, they work out pretty easily, and then you have a clear one. When you use a clear one, so it looked on her channel, is that you just have a clear kind of background. With this one, this is going to give it the more vintage look. And I probably don't need this much wax, so I'm going to just quit there and we're going to try it and see. And I might have just gummed my knife up for real. But I didn't want to use my my grater to grate, you know, this off with, because I only have the one. So maybe next time I go to Dollar Tree or somebody else does, I'll have them pick me up one of those cheap little graters for $1. And I'm just kind of putting a little bit of wax around to try to get this to work a little bit. I do want to put the pieces kind of close together so that, you know, the wax that comes from one piece that moves to the other one, you know, we can kind of share. You know what I mean? Kind of share the wax. All right. Some of these, you know, are cut off pretty chunky, so that's probably not a good thing, but, you know, I was trying to shave them off, but that just didn't work out too well, I guess. But we're going to find out if it's going to make a huge difference, aren't we? All right. I think I should probably put some of these little pieces around some of these bigger pieces since I put... Well, that thing is getting aggravating. Oh, my word. Yeah, I didn't think about this placement too well when I started, did I? Okay. Here's a big one, and let's surround it by a few little ones that maybe can share the wax when it runs. Especially these little keys, because it's going to be hard to put little pieces of wax on that, I guess. All right, let's see. Oh, let's put some on this. All right, so let's try it, y'all. I mean, I don't know. Well, we're going to find out. We're going to find it. And I guess it's not going to matter too much if they kind of overlap. Now, because I did cut the wax up on this side, I do want to turn this side down to put on top. And if this goes like planned, and like I've seen others do, and you know what, I think I might be too close to the edge. Well, if it is, I'll start working it back the other way. All right. So, my iron is on high. And what they do is they just put that on there and melt that wax. Gosh, I need to clean my workspace up before I do this. I had not actually planned to do this on my table here. I had planned to do it on an ironing board, and ideally I would have had more room. And that piece of wax just kind of ran right off of that piece, so let's move it back over here. All right. All right, and what they say to do is you can tell when your wax is melted, and you can tell where it is and where it's not. So you just take your iron and kind of push the wax over there to those spaces like that until you get it, you know, kind of smoothed around on there. All right. And you just got to hold that on there. I mean, especially if you're using chunks like this, you can definitely feel them under your iron, and you're going to know when they're flat and when they aren't. And once it gets flat, I'm just going to kind of move it around and see what I can come up with. Now I see why they say you need plenty of room, because this wax does spread. Goodness. Okay, I don't know if there's something under there or not, but we'll find out. Might just be wax in the parchment paper. Okay. Yeah, that key doesn't look real special. Let's do this big piece, and maybe I can spread some wax around. And we're going to see how well this works. You know, like I said, I did not want to buy beeswax. For one, it's expensive. You know, particularly, you know, if it's not something that you don't like using, don't want to use, have no intention of ever doing it again. You know, it's a fun little experiment, but no thank you. You know, I have lots of things like that I've tried that, you know, I'm not really crazy about. And then, you know, the other thing is that, you know, even when I do try stuff and like it, we have so many techniques, we tend to forget all the techniques we've learned. And until we run across something that we made using a technique and say, oh gosh, I remember, you know, doing that, and we used such and such to do that, you know, I think I'm too far. No, I'm good over here. Okay. Okay, y'all, I'm gonna say that's everything's melted and spread around probably as good as I can get it spread around. All right, and remember, we're not trying to get our pieces to stick to the paper. We're just trying to get the wax to melt and do its thing. All right, so I'll leave that on in case I need it. Now we're just gonna peel this off. And right now, it looks like the wax has covered all of these pieces, which is a good thing. So let's kind of let it dry for just a minute and harden up. And also, I didn't know how the wax was going to work. I had inked, like these shiny pieces and such, I inked them first. And, you know, with Distress ink, it is meant to move with moisture. And so I didn't know with the wax how the ink would react. You know, if it would just smear everywhere. So far, it looks pretty good. I think I have too much wax on a few pieces of these. But some of these look absolutely awesome. And my understanding is you let them dry. I don't think I'm proud of that piece exactly. And not that part of that piece. That looks good. That looks pretty good. I like this. Now this was, and I didn't really mean to put wax on this one, but this was a piece that I had backed onto some book page. And what this did was it gave it kind of a see-through appearance where you can actually see the book page behind that, and I actually like that. So I'm glad that, you know, I mistakenly did that. Most of our mistakes do turn out pretty good. All right. Now I think I just used way too much wax, particularly down here on these. I mean, it's just like caked on top. So I want to try to get just a little bit of that off. See what I'm talking about? I mean, I just have wax for days. So I'm going to take a little bit of this on the parts that I'm not real proud of. There's so much wax on that one. Yeah, maybe I love the way that one looks. I do want to kind of smooth that just a little bit. Maybe I need to put a different piece of paper down to kind of smooth it out some. Let's just do that. Now, I did see that, and I can't remember who, so forgive me, that they were reusing their sheets over and over to put their pieces on. And I don't know for sure about, you know, if they're trying to do what I'm doing right now to kind of, you know, get rid of some of the excess wax. Like I said, this is my first time, so I had no idea how it was going to turn out. And so far, you know, it's doing okay. We'll see in just a minute if I can, you know, kind of smooth some of this out, because I definitely have too much on these little clocks. Definitely. I mean, it's got a white haze to it, and that's not what I want at all. All right, now this piece. And then somebody was watching, and I can't recall who, was using different color candles or beeswax. I don't remember which either. And she ended up, let's say she was using red, and then she changed over to pink or blue or whatever. She just left the former wax on the page and let the colors meld together, and it made, you know, a real pretty design. I don't know if I should use, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to tear another piece off, especially if I can reuse this over and over. Uh-oh. Looks like we have a little issue here. But that's, you know what? Not a big deal. Not a big deal. I will just see what I can do here. Let's try to fold this in half. Might not cover up. Yeah, that will work. Perfect. All right. All right, let's see how that does. And I'm just going to stick the iron back to that for a second. And try to even out the pieces that didn't come out real even with the wax and get, you know, remove some of the, what I call excess wax. And, you know, I don't have clumps on here this time, so it's not going to take but just a little tiny bit to melt it. Okay. Oh my word, I'm getting all tangled up in this board. All right, let's see how that looks. Okay, I think, what if I just rub that a little bit? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. All right, do y'all see? Y'all can see through this? That's exactly the look I was going through. It makes it like vellum. I mean, that is just like vellum. It is amazing. It thickened up that thin paper. Believe it or not, it is not greasy. I thought it would be. That's kind of one thing I was worried about. All right, this is that coffee filter piece that my friend gave me. And I'll kind of wipe it off and see what happens. Oh yeah, see what that did was that's getting rid of like that extra white waxy. See how you can see through that? I like that. I really do. Okay. Now this was on the thicker, like cardstock. So actually this was a die cut, and you know it was, so the die cut was like in a kit, you know, that you buy or something. I didn't buy it. Somebody gave it to me. And that one you can't really see through it, but you know it was worth a try. So oh, this one came out of a magazine. So let's see. This one had some of that excess wax on it. You know, where it gave it that white look to it. And I don't like that. You know, I guess for Christmas time, if you're going for snow, that would probably be cool. Oh yeah, that looks good. Can y'all see that? Let me get something where we can see. That probably wasn't the right thing to show you. Book page or something. Let's see. Anyway, you can kind of see through that. I like that. And that was like white behind here, and then I inked that up, and that's the wax over it. So I like the way that looks. All right, this was just plain copy paper that I used a clock stamp on. Oh, I like that. That looks like a watch face, doesn't it? You know, you can see through it. I like it. I don't know if y'all can see those results or not. Now this one still kind of has that waxy look to it. And this was no, the same one. It doesn't look like I inked this one as heavily. And this one still has kind of a white kind of tone to it, which I don't mind. I can still see through it. And I don't like the way it looks in this particular journal. I could definitely use it in the other one. So I think that looks okay. You know, I'm not crazy about it, but it looks okay. And this is another one of them. And I just want to wipe these off. Just to, you know, I don't want them to feel waxy. I don't want them to feel greasy. That's not for me. However, there is a technique that you can do on these with baby oil, and once they dry, it gives us this clear look, see-through look. I've never tried it, and I've been wanting to, but I am such a messy crafter that I just feel like I am going to have baby oil everywhere on everything, and I probably won't be able to get it out my hair for washing for my hair for a week because, oh my, look at that, y'all. I didn't mean to curl that up, but look at that. That looks cool. Let's see. Look at there. Don't y'all like that? Oh, I like that. Okay. So now we know we can kind of do that little technique. You know, now I wish I'd kind of taken this one, you know, and crumpled it up, inked it a little bit so, you know, that it looked like that was really aged. So we know now that we can do like different things with it. I like that. Now this was from a magazine. Really, really thin, shiny paper. I did not know if this would stick or not, but it seems to be working wonderfully. And it is a little bit transparent. Not completely, but a little bit. Now, keep in mind, this one had like some swirls in the background, and then I've inked it too, and now the wax. So I think once these are completely dry, I think we're going to be real, real happy with those. So far, I'm liking it. I'm liking it a lot. And I will, you know, save these papers because when I put my pieces down, it's not going to hurt a thing for the wax to be on the bottom or on the top, you know, because we're going to be using wax on them. So far, I'm happy with this. I will be doing this again not too far in the future, maybe with the red candles on my other one. So we'll see. So I'm going to put these pieces aside because I'm really happy with those, and some of those are all of them will use. So let's just wait and see. So now to take a look at our pieces that we did with the tea bags and the napkin. I might have to put the heat tool or blow dryer or whatever to them if they're not completely dry. Oh, this was the other one that we did. I love that. I think that looks super, super, super. I didn't wipe that one off. Now this board that I'm working on, I think I mentioned it before, but this is like a cutting board, you know, for a kitchen. You know, when I was a chef, I used a great big cutting board because I cut up a lot of stuff. And of course, it's just really big for my kitchen. So I thought, well, this would be perfect in my craft room because I can scrub this. You know, I can clean it. I can put any kind of cleaner I want to. All this little paint that got down in those crevices, you know, I can wash it and it comes right out. Y'all, I really, really like the way that looks. I really do. Okay, so these, what was I going to, oh, nothing. Oh, these I wanted to do the wax on too. I guess I'll bring my wax back in sooner than I thought. Okay, now, that's not many, so we'll just grab these pieces back over here. And this is just a coffee dyed piece of copy paper, just plain copy paper, as well as this and this. Oh, I already did that one. And that and that. So all those were, these are our stamped images, not this one, but all of these are stamped image on regular coffee dyed copy paper. This is, again, one of those thicker die cut pieces that I got. So let me just shave off a little bit more wax. I hope I'm going to be able to rescue my knife after a while. Oh, by the way, when I bought this candle, I think it was just at the Dollar Tree, it had this neat little doohickey wrapped around it. Now, the other two did not have this little cute doohickey wrapped around it. And, you know, it was $1, and this one was $1. So I thought, well, you know what? We will sure use that twine, and I can sure use those leaves for something. So I wanted to show y'all that. So if you happen to see that, you can get the extra little bonus piece. Oh, and by the way, I did sew up the pieces that I cut off of my my big cards that wouldn't fit, you know, because they were just too big for that book. I did cut them up, and I can use them for tuck spots or, you know, journaling cards or whatever. And I saved all the little bits because I can put them at the top of the page and use for tucks, or at the bottom of the page and use for tucks. So, I mean, there's lots of stuff we can do with them. But anyway, I sewed all around all those pieces. So now I have lots of things to put in pockets and such. I'm going to ink all those, like I told you before. Okay, let's trim off a little bit of wax. I should have brought a white candle in so we could have seen the difference in the colors of this kind of off-white candle and the white. Of course, I did see it on video, and you know, I liked, for the vintage look, I did like, obviously, you know, the off-white. But now for the other one, we will definitely try the white candles and the red and probably the little purple one. Let's see, I don't need a piece that big on there. Oh, I got this little key. Let's see. I'm sure that is more than enough. Okay. If I can get it to stick to that, not me. Looks like I need to find storage space for candles now, doesn't it? Always something, y'all. Always something. Okay, so let's try this one and see how it turns out. And no, I have not forgotten about our cover. As a matter of fact, we are going to use 2 different materials and 2 to 4 different kind of paper. Actually, probably 2 different kind of papers, but 2 things to make the leather look with, because you know, it just gives you some options of things to think about. All right, it looks like I'm getting great coverage on these, y'all. That one might be a little issue right there. Might not be. Okay, so far that looks good. I'm gonna turn this off. Won't take it but a second to heat up if I need a little more heat. Oh my goodness. Yeah, the wax is just sitting there now. All right. Uh-oh. So. And that, you know what, I'm using too much wax. So definitely I need to shred my pieces a little bit smaller. Oh, you know what? This image was stamped on a piece of notebook paper. I'm seeing the lines now. I didn't see the lines before I did this. But look at here. That thing is see-through. I love it. It's transparent. I hope y'all can see that. Can y'all see that? You can even see there's a little design in that. But this, you can actually see the lines of the notebook paper. I love it. Okay, let's do this. This is that thicker piece that was out of a die-cut piece of cardstock. I don't think we're going to be able to see through this one. I might be wrong, but it might still give me that kind of... Oh, yeah, you can. Let me wipe the back of that one off. I got a lot of wax back there. Oh, from being on there. That makes sense. Okay. So this is something you could set up your ironing board at the TV and, you know, sit with hubby or kids or, you know, by yourself or whatever and watch TV while you're doing something with your hands. So if y'all like me, look at there. You can see through that one too. I am loving that, y'all. I love this technique. Okay, now that I found it and know about it, I will be doing this because I really, really, really am liking the way this looks. I can't wait to see how it's going to look with the different colors of candles. And this image was stamped on a scrap piece of paper. And so you can actually kind of see the words through it a little bit. That is cool. I love this, y'all. All right, I want to see how this key turns out because I love this little key. Now, I did see where you do want to let these completely dry, and so stacking them on top of each other really isn't a great plan. And off camera, you know, I'll spread them out a little bit so that you make sure that your wax is good and dry so that it doesn't leave, you know, waxy feel or whatever. Look at that, y'all. Isn't that gorgeous? I love that. Okay. So we've seen these clocks about 10 times now. I'm going to try to hurry through these because obviously we know how they're going to look. This was just done on, stamped on plain white copy paper and inked. And I'm really pleased that it didn't move the ink all over the place. And of course, I mean, it's not like I'm using that much distress ink. But, you know, ink will move when it gets wet, or the distress ink will, if it's not a permanent ink. And so this was definitely distress ink. And it didn't move it all over the place. And where it, you know, if it did move it, I like the effect. So I really, really like the way those look. Let's wipe this car down. I don't think they wipe their pieces down, but I just don't like that waxy, you know, the white waxy look. I just don't. Oh, look at that, y'all. Uh-oh, that's kind of smearing a little bit. But you know what? I like it. I like the way that ink is kind of smearing. It's not gives it even a more rustic look. And I like the sound. I love that. Yeah, I'm really, really liking this. So I would definitely be coming back to this technique. So in the future, if I say, you know, these are my wax pieces, y'all are going to know what I'm talking about and how we did it. And I hope y'all will try this, because I'm telling you, I think you're going to be really, really pleased with your results. Like I said, I'm going to save this paper. And when we go to do the other journal, I may put the red pieces on, you know, the red shavings of my candle on, and then stick them on this off-white one and see how that comes out. Because the thing I was worried about with the red candles is that it might be too bold, you know, and not have that kind of aged look that I'm going for. Oh, I wanted to do this piece too. Well, let's just do it. I wanted to see if we did a whole page, how that would look. Because this is going to be a pocket, you know, one of those, you know, insert pockets. So let's just try it and see how it looks. A little more wax. You know, and just, you know, you don't have to buy a whole bunch of candles. Just buy one to start with. And, you know, see if you like it. And if you don't, you know, you don't have $2 or $3 tied up in it. But I thought, you know, $2 or $3 is nothing for me, really. I mean, it is a lot of money, don't get me wrong. But, you know, I waste more than $2 or $3 on stuff that I never use. And what I saw the others do, and I liked it. And so I've had a feeling that I would like it, but I didn't want to, you know, spend, you know, $10, $15 on beeswax, you know, and then not like it. You know, I mean, it's kind of like taking a chance on something. And, you know, if I'm going to try something, I don't want to try it with the most expensive stuff. I want to, you know, try it with what I can. Plus, you know, I am on a fixed income. And so buying stuff sometimes is very difficult for me. And I know it is for some of y'all. I mean, I've gotten emails and such from people saying, you know, thank you so much for showing us another way to do this, because, you know, I don't have the money to buy all those fancy tools and things like that. I guess I'm just going to leave that one. Okay, so let's try that. I think that's going to be too much wax again. You know what? I'm heavy-handed at everything else. It wouldn't surprise us, right, if I'm heavy-handed at the wax, too. How much time have I spent already? Oh, my goodness, a long time. All right, I'm hurrying. And then we're going to take a look at our tea dad, or our tea, whatever kind of papers they are. Tea bags. The tea bags. You know, I am so sorry this video got to be so long. But these were just some, you know, techniques that I had seen that I wanted to share with y'all in case you wanted to, you know, do them in your journal. Because I really did, you know, hope and think that they were going to be awesome. Now, for some reason, I don't know if I tore my page somewhere, but I definitely have wax on this side of the paper. So if you're using your good iron, you're going to want to clean, you know, the plate of your iron off. Trust me, the wax will not hurt your iron, you know, as long as you aren't piling it up in those holes. Because, you know, most irons have that Teflon finish on them anyway, like this one does. No, other one, my good iron, I don't think it does. Let's see. But it, you know, stuff still doesn't stick to it. And I'm just going to wipe that off. And then the next time I go to use it, I'll heat it up and let it smoke for a few minutes to make sure I burn everything off that's still on there. And so I'm done with the iron. I want to unplug it. I always try to unplug an iron as soon as I'm done with it, even if I have to go back and plug it in again, you know, in 5 minutes, because, you know, I've seen too many people's houses burn down because of irons. All right now that looks kind of yucky, but we're going to find out. let's wipe that one. Oh my goodness. Yep, I think we're gonna like this, y'all. And now this is gonna make like a vellum pocket. So. Now the reason that I did not sew this already was because I wanted to, and I didn't know if we were going to put wax on the front and the back, or if just the front, And so I didn't want to make it so thick that it wouldn't give us the vellum look. I need a different paper towel. I definitely, I recycle my wipes. Y'all know that. But I definitely would not use my wipes for this project. This is definitely a paper towel kind of project, because I do, wash and reuse my wipes, and I don't think I would ever get the candle wax out of my wipes. What I do like about this too, on the, on these sewn pieces, is that the wax fills in those sew holes and, makes it stronger. I did get kind of crazy with the wax right there. All right, let's get a little scrap piece that I had. I got way too much right here. I think my iron's still probably hot enough so y'all think, ooh, I don't want to get that in the way. And maybe working on small areas at a time is even better than, maybe a big piece. Yeah, definitely. Okay. Once this dries, if I think that it needs to be wiped again, I certainly will. And maybe one day we will try the baby oil thing, but Lord have mercy. Look at there, y'all. That is just like vellum. Look at that. I definitely need to wipe the back of that off. I'll do that off camera because we already have, gone through a lot of time. But once that's folded, that is going to look like a vellum envelope. Isn't that cool? Look at that, y'all. Isn't that cool? I'm loving that. Okay, so I'll do that off camera because obviously you know what it looks like now. So let's take a look at our other pieces real quick. And I have, the way I'm going to keep my my parchment paper is I'm going to, fold it up and put it in, something like this, and then I'll label it, parchment paper for, when using wax or something. I'll label it, and that way I will know. Okay, so now our other pieces, how did they turn out? All right, this is how it started out, that bright. This is how this ended up. And you can just kind of tear around this, depends on, what kind of look you want. But you can just kind of tear around this a little bit. And if I was taking more time, I could probably tear it right at where I had previously torn it before. But, I don't care. It's not that big a deal. If I just hate it, I can, re-tear it. Or, I've got glue, paper, and scissors. It's not like I can't fix it, right? Okay, so now that is a more usable piece in that particular journal because I have completely muted that down. So, hope y'all like that. I like the technique. Okay, now this is another one with the tea bags. Now, one thing I will say, the color of your tea bags is going to affect how your pieces come out. So, sometimes what I do is when I'm making my tea, and I make tea every single day just about, is sometimes I need tea bags like right now, and so as soon as I squish them out, I hang them up and let them dry. And then once they're dry, I just, take the tea out and I use them. I don't always like it this dark or this dark. And so what I do is, I will take the tea out while they're still wet and I will rinse these off. And that takes it down just a little bit. Okay, so on these were previously cut out, like perfectly cut out or whatever. I don't care. I just don't care. I'm just going to, kind of tear around these because I don't mind having that, I like the torn look, actually. I like it better than, just the straight look. So, I think that turned out nice. And if you don't think that enough showed through, you can try to go over it again with a little bit more Mod Podge, to see if you can bring it up a little bit. Like I said, the color of the tea bags is going to affect. But now once it's on the page, not up against that white background, you can see that there's something pretty cool there. You might not know what it is, but, you can see. Okay. So and this was that table that, there was so much white in. And like I said, we might not even use it. It just depends. If we don't like it, we will not use it. You know, I just kind of tore a leg off that table, but that's okay. You know, it's... So that looks a whole lot better. That's definitely more usable. I would probably ink around that one a little bit. But yeah, I could totally see using that. Absolutely. Okay. This was one of those columns that we looked at the other day. You know, I said, you know, if we could get one of those wine bottles to work. And to me, they're just too shiny right now, so I may cover those, you know, with a tea bag. Or, you know, I could show you how to take the color down and distress them with some, I'm using Awesome Cleaner to do it. Now, see how I did that? I tore that, and it tore that right off of there. What? You know what? I don't care. It's not supposed to be a perfect piece, so I just tore that off. And now I have that look, and I think that looks just fine. And again, I would probably ink around this one a little bit just to make these hanging off pieces just a little darker. But now that is not that light gray that we had before, and I could totally see, you know, using that as well. Absolutely. Wait, does it go like this? No, it goes like that. Okay. Those little column things confuse me. And this is the last piece on the tea bags that we had, which was the clock. And remember, now we used the wax on one like this. Now this is the tea bag on one like this. And that's how that turned out. And I like the way that looks as well. So I call that a complete success. Everything we've done so far today has been a complete success. Now what I've never done is use the coffee, not the coffee filter, napkin that we're talking about. Oh, well, I did have one more piece of, one more piece of this. And this was a lantern. Let's just tear this out real quick, you know, so that, you know, we can say we saw everything that we used it on. And again, I don't care if it's not torn exactly, you know, with the other piece. You know, I can re-tear, I can cut, I can, you know, put something else on top of it, whatever. All right, this was a lantern, like, hangs outside, and we went from a bright, you know, white kind of background, you know, to this. I can't even find another piece that was like it. But like a magazine piece, like this. Just, you know, I had that white in there, and now it looks very rustic and old. So that works for me. All right, let's do the napkin, and then we'll call it quits for today. This was the napkin that I put over this old washing machine. I love it. I love that. Even if I didn't tear that out, I mean, I love that. So I am surprised. So this is just the napkins that they give you. So when you get extra napkins, these little brown one-ply napkins, I mean, even if you get two-ply napkins, I assume that you could, you know, take the plies apart like we do with the other napkins that we use. And I think I want to leave a lot of that on there. I mean, I don't want to tear that all the way off because I like that. I really like this shabby look of this napkin. If y'all disagree, let me know in the comment section. I probably won't change it because I'm liking it, but I'd like to know your opinion of it. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Oh my, I really, really like that, y'all. Look at that. Isn't that cool? I really, really like that. That works for me. And you know what? I might even Mod Podge that onto a page rather than glue it. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. We'll figure out something with it. Okay. So those were the two techniques I wanted us to do today, was the waxing and the tea bags and napkin. I'm excited about the results. I think that gives us more. Listen to this page. I mean, that is just like vellum, y'all. That is just like vellum. Y'all have got to try this. You've got to try it. But now, I will recommend if you're doing a bigger piece like this, you know, maybe work on a part of it at a time. This is going to look so good inked up. See where that is? And next time, I'm going to crinkle up some of my pages and then wax them and see how that looks. Because when we do our leather look cover, and leather paper so that we can make embellishments, I think you're going to love it. So we will do that tomorrow. I'm still trying to find a supply that I need for one of the techniques. I have used a supply that I'd never used before, and I'll show you that, but I want to show you all that at one time. So that's what, actually Monday, because today's Friday. That's what I'm planning on for Monday. So I'm really, really, really excited. I'm not going to go back to the other journal until we get this one kind of put together. Once it's put together and we start embellishing it a little bit, you know, then I'll call that quits, because y'all, you know, you're not going to have all the same embellishments I do. But, you know, just to get the pieces together that we have made, you know, the decorations that we've kind of done to show you the different techniques for the things that you can, you know, scrounge up that you have laying around. You know, if you have, you know, toilet paper rolls, anything like that, that you can cut apart, the tea bags, of course, won't work on that, and probably the waxing wouldn't either, but it, you know, it's something you can use to, say, you know, glue one of your images down and then tear around it, and then you've got that, you know, that old vintage kind of look from, you know, your toilet paper tube rolls or paper towel tube rolls or whatever. So anyway, just pull in whatever you have, you know, kind of around the house. And, you know, I think some of these, you know, of course, this is more the string I cut off of pieces that I made today, but I think when we go to put some of this stuff down, of course, I wouldn't use that much, but, you know, just kind of give you that. Look at that. Isn't that adorable? I guess I should put 12 up. I love that. And, you know, and that's not frilly. It's not girly. I mean, I really, really, really like that. So, yeah. So, anything that, you know, that you have, I'm telling you, fibers. Another thing that, you know, we're going to pull in, I think we talked about it the other day, is some burlap. And I will use some of this fine woven burlap, but I think I want to go in with some of the wider weave burlap. So anyway, whatever you have, grab it. You know, we'll start putting things together. I think this would make absolutely adorable pockets. And so, you know, just grab what you have, and we're going to use it, because we do, well, I'm not going to frill this one up at all. And so I look forward to Monday. I think, you know, we're going to have a great week next week. I know everybody wants to know how I'm doing. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Today I really can't walk. As soon as I got up and tried to take a step this morning, I fell. My legs and feet were completely numb. And, oh, I did get my scooter back, y'all. Yay. I mean, it is fixed. Actually, it never did leave. I was just waiting on them to do something. And I'm getting so much stuff stuck under my board, I can't get it to sit down. Okay. Oh, my goodness. So, anyway, I know I've taken up too much of y'all's time already today. I love you all. Thank you so much. Oh, and I have, you know, several new subscribers. But I want to point out one specifically. How much time have I spent? Oh, my goodness. I'm way over time. Okay. Anyway, her name is Sugar Hiccups. Hey, Sugar. And all of my new subscribers, and for all the ones that have been hanging around for a while, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love and appreciate y'all. But, y'all, look at that name. Sugar Hiccups. Does that sound like she's a movie star? I mean, really. And I can just hear it now, calling her down the red carpet. And here is the great actress, Sugar Hiccups. So, I just think it's adorable. I love it, Sugar. Thank you, thank you, thank you for coming over. Thank you to all my new subscribers. I do not know what's going on with my board here. Okay, y'all. Blessings and hugs. I will see you Monday. Bye.